All right, I should be live now. I always come on a minute or so early just to check that we are all good and that this is working. So I'm going to give it a minute or so to get some confirmation that this is all working and that we are live. That is always the fun of doing a live stream. I can see that there are people here, so I'm just going to wait for a thumbs up from my team to say that we are ready and all good to go. So bear with me a second. Aha, we have a thumbs up and I'm getting hellos from people. Hello, if you are here with me, please say hi. Let me know where you are from. We've got Dario in South Africa. We have got people from the Algarve. So that is exciting. We love to see you. Please drop me a line and say where you are tuning in from, because I love these moments where I get to spend time with you guys. Trinidad, Serbia, amazing. So many people with us. Okay, so it is 5:30, so without further ado, I am going to get started. So we are here for another student interview. Thank you so much for joining us. This is the 5th one in this series. And we've always had such great feedback from you guys on how inspiring it is to hear stories of people who have finally cracked the code on Portuguese conversation, because I know that that's what you guys are trying to achieve as well. So I'm here with my student Dina this week, and we're going to talk all about her journey, where she started, where she is now, and how she got there, because we really want to encourage as many of you guys as possible to start learning, because it isn't impossible. Okay, I promise you that, and Dina's proved it. Okay, so it really is going to make such a difference to your relationships, your life, and that's what Dina's story is going to show today. So if you are tuning in, you probably already know who I am. I'm Liz. I'm the host of the YouTube channel Talk the Streets that teaches practical Portuguese in plain English. And I'm also the creator of the Portuguese Pro program, which is an online course and community that will take you from saying your very first words up to having your first conversations with native speakers. And that is how I met the lovely Dina, who I can't wait for you to meet as well. So let's go ahead and add her to the stream, and we can start to hear her story. Hi, Dina.
Hi, how are you?
I am great. I love that we are matching today in our stripes.
Great minds.
We have got people tuning in from all over Canada, Portugal, Palm Springs, the UK. So everyone is really eager to hear this story of how you have improved your Portuguese conversation, even though you've been outside of Portugal this whole time. So let's start at the beginning. I would love to hear you introduce yourself. Tell us who you are and why you decided to learn Portuguese.
Okay, I'm 62. I was born and raised in California. I was born into a large Portuguese clan, but we were really Americanized. Grew up in an area of California that had a large Azorean diaspora. And there were Portuguese civic organizations that were around us, but my family never really looked at, they talked about the old country, but nobody ever wanted to go back. So I had never had any kind of affinity for Portugal, never wanted to go or visit. We only visited last year for the very first time after agreeing to meet our son after he finished his pilgrimage in Spain.
Okay.
We went for the first time.
Amazing. So I'm getting a little bit of echo on your end, Dina. I don't know if my team can tell me if that's something that everyone can hear or if it's just me. Okay, it stopped now. Okay, so you didn't understand any Portuguese, right?
Only a couple of things, like cuss words and admonitions that my grandmother used to say, but no, I knew nothing.
Okay, but when you actually came to Portugal, it all changed. What changed for you and made you want to learn?
A lot of, golly, it's so many different things. I really just loved the country. It was beautiful. The people were friendly. The cities were so attractive. And then I also visited some friends who were born in Portugal but raised with me in California and have homes there. So they hosted us. And there was just something we talked about the the differences between Portugal and the United States, and there just was something was just ignited in me that I wanted to learn the language and decide to apply for citizenship.
Okay, I love that. I'm sure lots of people can relate to this feeling of coming to Portugal and just suddenly falling in love. I know it has that effect on people, and people think, huh, maybe I should spend more time here. Maybe I should live here. So if that's you, let us know in the comments if you could relate to this kind of epiphany that Dina had with something that really, took her from Portugal and her visit. So you decided to start this journey towards citizenship then, so you could spend more time in Portugal. How did it go when you first started to learn the language? I think you had a couple of false starts. It wasn't that easy. Tell us about the kind of obstacles you came across before you started working with me.
So I joined a bunch of Facebook pages about, Americans in Portugal, moving to Portugal, whatever. And there were a lot of recommendations, and I followed the ones that were repeated the most. Pimsleur, Portuguese with Leo, subscribe to Daily Nata, which is an email of a little saying daily, and a couple of other things that were all online. And so I don't really do well online. I don't do well with self-paced learning online. If I did, I'd have a bunch of degrees. So what else did I try? So I looked around for classes in Portuguese, which was a little tough because we were still in pandemic mode here in Oregon. And so everything was online and everything was Brazilian. So I tried a class. I tried an online class. That didn't work either. So.
Okay. So yeah, very common, a couple of false starts. Online kind of really put you off. Why was it that you were reluctant to do something that was online? Because I think this is a thing that a lot of people have in their mind. They're like, no, I don't want online. I want to make sure that I go to an in-person class. What was it about it that you really was a stumbling block for you?
Several things. Part of it is internal in terms of I just am not very disciplined on my own unless there is like a schedule imposed upon me, like last time is this day at this time, be here. I also thrive in community, in person, in dialogue, energy from other people. That really helps me learn.
Okay. So, of course, my program, Portuguese Pro, is online. So when you found us, what was different about it that actually made you think, yeah, I can do this? And then how did you see your Portuguese starting to improve when we started to work together?
So the thing that is different so I found out about you from a neighbor, and he said, you really should check out her YouTube. So I did. There was information that came from you that seemed like, wow, this is something that is easy to digest. Mm-hmm. Also, the way the Pro program is designed is there's this combination. It is all online, but there's the option of the live sessions, which met my need sufficiently for that community, for that interaction. Plus you have the Circle community, like a private social media site as well that encourages and facilitates interaction with other students.
Amazing. So you felt like, and then in terms of your Portuguese, from where you started to where you are now, tell us a bit about where you're at now, because you're pretty much speaking very regularly after, as you say in the beginning, only recognizing the basic stuff.
Okay, that's the thing that I think is really special about this program, and the way that it's designed is after I think it's the third module, you say, okay, get a speaking partner, start speaking. And this is after I've participated in pronunciation workshops where we're challenged to submit something and we get feedback from you every week. So I went into conversation with practice speaking already. It wasn't just me into some microphone like Practice Portuguese. Sorry, it's a great program, but I had live feedback, and that really helped a bunch. I noticed that there was a little bit of a difference for me opposed to others who work just with those online programs. So I had more comfort saying things out loud.
Yeah, so this is something that people often ask me about. They're like, when should I start speaking? I'm too scared. And actually, people know so much more than they think they do. And for you, I know that it was a really nerve-wracking thing to start your speaking practice. But once you did and you started telling us about how you were having these regular conversations, which we're going to go on to talk about in a minute, it just goes to show that you have to start before you're ready, right, with the speaking.
And I think that was the thing that the sessions really helped with as well. There was just this group momentum. Okay, you all are ready for this next phase. We encourage you to get a speaking partner. So people started to send suggestions on, this is where you find a speaking partner. Somebody said, oh, I found a speaking partner. And there was lots of encouragement and support that way. I was able to find my speaking partner through a pro recommendation. I was able to find a tutor. I started tutoring then as well. Also found that person through a pro. Yeah.
Amazing. I'm here with my student Dina, who is sharing her experience of learning Portuguese to give you guys the confidence to do the same. So she started from being able to say the basics, bom dia, and all of that. And now she's actually doing speaking practice every week, even though she is still in the US, and she has passed the final milestone in our program, which is recording a 10-minute conversation with a native speaker. So she has come a very, very long way. So if that's something that you are interested in, just go to talkthestreets.com/apply, where you can fill in a form and see if you qualify for an application call to hopefully come and join me and Dina inside the program. It does take a few days to get back to you, so bear with us, but if this is sounding good and you want to find out more, that's where you need to go. So I want to hear then about this speaking practice, Dina, because you were so nervous. You didn't think you were good enough, but you've been so active in the community. You've been working so hard. You were so present in the live sessions. We knew that you were ready and that you just needed to have that little push. So tell us about the conversation club at the local cafe that you found and what it's been like attending there and some of the people that you've met.
Yeah, my son studied Brazilian Portuguese at university. And so he knew that I was doing this and was supportive. And he found this cafe that was having a weekly, Portuguese meetup. And so I said, let's go. And he went with me to the first one. And it's mostly Brazilian diaspora or Americans who spent a lot of time in Brazil and they're fluent. I came in with really low skill, but they were welcoming, and it was, they were fine with me not knowing a lot. And so I could understand better than I could speak, but they encouraged me to speak. And if I needed, I said a lot of como se diz, and they would help me. So I made notes, and it was 2 hours. I noticed that I would sweat or, shallow breathing because I was so nervous. But I noticed I just made myself go back each week. And I noticed that I just became more relaxed and more comfortable, and I could say more with the live sessions with you guys, with the continuing study with the modules. I went back each week with a little more skill. So
amazing. So we've got some pictures that I want to share of you guys. Look at you guys just having fun. So have you met some cool people through this, and have you had some fun conversations that you didn't expect to have?
yes, so this gentleman here who's on the right holding up his hand, he's also doing the same thing I am. He's actually a descendant of somebody from the Azores and is also applying for citizenship. It was really fun to talk with him. The woman next to him is an older woman who just joined us. She's also Portuguese. The rest are Brazilians who are very fluent, and some are instructors in Brazilian Portuguese, or and have just these incredible life experiences. So I learned a lot about Brazil.
That's amazing. And did you imagine when you got started, because it was about a year ago, it was last summer, and you've had some kind of stops and starts, but when you started, did you imagine you'd get this far where you would be chatting to people like this?
No, and I've studied other languages, and I've never gotten this far. And so, yeah, and I even lived in Austria and learned German. I was there for 2 years and didn't get to this level of fluency because I would, and I was taking classes 4 days a week. I was practicing conversation and in cafes as well, but I kept leaving and not practicing while I was gone. I would come back to the United States for 3 or 4 weeks and then go back and have to start all over again. And I never got to a point where I felt comfortable having more than an interaction at a shop. Whereas now I'm able to have conversations with people. So
it's so good. So we actually have to see a glimpse of your Portuguese, Dina, because I don't know how else to express to people how good you've gotten. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a clip from one of our live sessions, because with Portuguese Pro, you do have access to 2 live group sessions with me and my team every week. And in one of them, we focus on pronunciation. So the students will send in recordings, we'll critique you and give you feedback, because this is such a fundamental part of good Portuguese, actually being able to pronounce things. But the amazing thing about this submission from you was that you actually wrote this letter as well from scratch. And I was bowled over by how good it was. We only corrected a couple of tiny things, which were actually quite advanced bits of grammar, because honestly, it brought a tear to my eye, as you saw in that session the other week. So again, people don't often really have a good grasp on what like an A2 level, a B1 level is. And really, you guys, you particularly, really have reached that upper A2 and are basically pushing that B1 now, which is really amazing. So I want to go ahead and play this. Fingers crossed it works well, so that everyone can see how great your Portuguese is. Let's take a listen.
This is Dina with an informal letter. Querida Joyce, eu recebi o teu texto. Não pude responder. Sim, eu fui à Califórnia na semana passada. Eu fui ao casamento do meu sobrinho. O casamento era muito bonito. O casal casou por baixo das árvores grandes. O casamento era pequeno porque a família da noiva é muito pequena. Tu sabes, a minha família é enorme. O casamento pequeno era muito difícil pela minha irmã. Os meus filhos não poderão vir. Elas entenderam, mas a minha irmã e eu tivemos saudades. E as outras pessoas da nossa família também. Entretanto, tudo é ok. A família da noiva é muito simpática e o meu sobrinho adora-la. Isso é muito importante. A nossa mãe assistiu por 3 horas. Todos estavam felizes quando ela veio. E eu tenho uma foto dela com o meu marido. É a minha favorita do dia. Eu espero que vamos encontrar quando eu visito a próxima vez. Vou ligar-te em breve. Beijinhos.
So good. So as you can see, the yellow bits are the bits that we correct the pronunciation of, and the red bits were the bits that we correct the grammar. There was basically nothing to correct there. I couldn't believe you'd done this all by yourself. How does it feel when you see what you can do now?
It was a lot of work.
Of course,
but well, yeah, thank you. And I feel it was something that I was talking about an event that was really special to me. So that was fun. The other thing too is I feel immense gratitude. Like I said, I've never gotten this far in any kind of a language study. I've always wanted to learn another language. This is also, I had hit a wall. I had a real crisis of confidence at one point, and it was something that had happened with the Brazilian group. It was just, I wasn't doing well there, and I had been recording myself for the challenge so I could get this mug because I really wanted it. And your staff followed up and said, you signed up for the challenge. How's it going? I wrote back and I said, I sound really terrible. I can't submit something like this. I don't sound like I read in conversation. And so the feedback that I got, he said, well, don't worry about it. This is natural. And then he said, can I talk about it at our next Q&A? And then there was just all this support that I got from you guys and other pros. It just really helped me get over that hump. And it's just like, okay, I'm here because of that.
I love that, because let's be honest, also if you have questions for Dina, please put them in the chat in terms of things that have helped her, ways that she's overcome her mindset blocks, anything like that. We'll get to that in a little bit. But this is exactly what language learning is like. So much of it is about confidence, and your confidence is going to go like this throughout your journey, and you're also going to feel like you're making progress like this throughout your journey. And by having people around you who can pick you up on the bad days, but also encourage you to keep going, and also put things into perspective about where you should be right now as well, right? Remember, this is a beginner's course. You're attempting to get to an A2 level. A2 is what you guys need for citizenship. That doesn't mean you speak perfectly with no mistakes. And there's always going to be people out there who want to be picky or correct this mistake or whatever. But, the way you speak and the submissions that you've been sending, and even your challenge that you sent in, even though it's not perfect, it was one of the best ones that we've received. So does that talk about putting progress over perfection, has that been something that's really helped you?
Oh my God, yes. I mean, I had to be reminded of that constantly too. And it really helped me a lot when you would say 60%, go ahead with 60%. It's like, okay. And so that, and the fact that other pros are still, people who've completed are still involved in the community where there are these like lamps on the path. I think it's really well lit, and I really appreciate that.
Amazing. So you do have, sorry, getting rid of that echo again. You do have a trip booked to Portugal in September. Are you feeling more confident now about your Portuguese for when you arrive?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I spoke nothing the last time I went last year, and I was afraid to even try restaurant Portuguese. My husband was better at trying than I was. And so I'm very much looking back. There's a shop I want to visit. Last time I visited, she didn't speak English, I didn't speak Portuguese, and there was a man there who exhorted her to learn English so she could talk with tourists. And I thought, no, I want to go back and have a dialogue with her in Portuguese. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yes, you're going to be able to do it. I can't wait. about it. So if you have just tuned in, you're wondering what's going on, this is my student Dina, who's been sharing her experience of learning Portuguese to give you guys confidence to do the same. She started at the very beginning and now, as we just heard, she is writing beautiful letters in Portuguese, got beautiful Portuguese pronunciation, and has even passed our final milestone, which is a 10-minute conversation with a native speaker. So if you are interested in doing the same, just go to talkthestreets.com/apply to see if you qualify for an application call with us, and hopefully come and join us inside the program. We would absolutely love to hear from you. So before we wrap up, the most important part, Dina, is what advice do you have for people who are watching this right now who think, wow, I wish I could do what Dina has done. How do I get that far? What is it what's the secret sauce?
Yeah. Number one, trust. Trust what they say. She said at the very beginning, do it as I've laid out. Try it for 60 or 90 days and just do that. And so that's what I did. So follow the program the way it's designed. It's designed really brilliantly, I think. The format is amazing. The other thing is submit pronunciations. Attend the live sessions. I know that not everybody can. I'm fortunate to have a flexible schedule, but if even being able to view the recorded sessions is really helpful. And then participate in Circle. Lean into the community that is provided. That's there. There's so much support that makes this, doesn't even feel like it's an online thing. Like I'm going to Portugal and I feel like I have people there.
Yeah, you're going to meet people.
Yeah. So
that's going to be so exciting. Okay, amazing. Oh yeah, we've got Sharon in the audience.
I know, I can't wait to see Sharon. Thank you.
And you even found somebody who is in your local area who is doing the same.
Yes. And so we connected as well. That was really fun. I'm looking forward to reconnecting with her when she comes back.
Amazing. Okay, so Dina's main tips are making sure that we're focusing on progress instead of perfection, making sure we're trying to understand 60% of things, because that's actually, what's expected of you at this level, and not trying to aim for that impossible 100%. And then just really focusing on the study. We have a comment from another student, Ernesto, in the comments, who says, the trick is practice nonstop. And that's true, because the amazing thing about you, Dina, as well, is that you've done all of this outside of Portugal. You've done this while you've still been in the US. How have you managed to practice and actually feel like you've been immersing yourself, even though you haven't been in Portugal to practice?
Yeah, I've been admiring and wishing that I could be there with the people who are in Portugal. And so the way I've been doing that is through the attending the live sessions, participating in Circle, chatting with people. The other thing I really would like to advise people to do too is post wins. Talk about, brag on yourself. Those are, because I was always so inspired by people who posted their wins that I thought, okay, I want to do that too. Or so that was really helpful. And it's just really nice to get the feedback. And then, yeah, I find your speaking partner too. Find your speaking partner and ask.
Before you do it.
Sorry?
Before you think you're ready to do it, right?
Yes, absolutely. Don't be shy about asking people too, who maybe find somebody who speaks Portuguese and ask if they will speak with you.
Amazing. Well, listen, I am so proud of you. That is all we have time for. We're already on our 30-minute mark, but it was so brilliant to get the chance to talk to you, Dina. I know that you would have inspired a lot of people today. And if you do want to do this too, to be able to speak Portuguese, to prepare for your citizenship here, and ultimately meet people, enjoy life in Portugal, then please do apply to the program. The link is on the screen, talkthestreets.com/apply. Even if it takes us a few days to get back to you, we do always go through applications as quickly as we can. And we want to get as many people in Dina's position, not just speaking, but having fun and enjoying it, right? Because you have enjoyed it, haven't you, Dina? It hasn't been a hellish process, it's been fun.
This has been the funnest year of my life.
I love to hear that.
Yeah. It really has.
All right, perfect. Listen, I will let you go. We will say tchauzinho, and I'll look forward to seeing you at another live session soon. And to everybody else, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back next month with new people to chat to inspire you. So I will look forward to seeing all of you then. All right, beijinhos, pessoal. Ciao, ciao.